And people will not be smart now. Nigeria is now next in line. We won't make you just pay attention because of what just happened recently. We be say they don't buy so many people right now. The US government don't take action, decisive action to enter Nigeria and to make a critical decision for this division of Nigeria. So a lot of things don't they happen right now, and they don't evacuate so many of their US staff within Nigeria to show say the matter don't be serious. I want make you just pay attention from the start to the end so that you go hear every single thing where they go on for our country, Nigeria and Biafra land. A lot is about to happen for this country. A lot is about to happen. Pay attention. Share this video to everyone on every social media platform. What to the end. Any side you go understand so many things. Pay attention from within the US man don't talk about what happen for Christian arena and the news will be say things where this guy just broadcast right now. Pay attention, watch it. A lot is about to happen. Share this video. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. Don't forget to drop your opinion at the comment section. Your opinion is really needed. Share this video so that everybody go see what they go on for our country, Nigeria.
And in Nigeria, this time the attacks happened on Easter weekend, right as believers were marking the resurrection. The attackers stormed into St. Ignatius Catholic Church in Mbalum, Benue State, just as people were getting ready for Easter Sunday services. After that, they turned on the villagers, burning homes, chasing people down. 17 lives were lost in all the chaos. Here with more is Judd Saul. He's founder of Equipping the Persecuted. He's also a documentary filmmaker and missionary who just returned from Nigeria. Judd, thanks for being with us. So tell us more about this Easter weekend slaughter of Christians. What happened and why?
3 weeks ago, I warned the Nigerian government and I warned the U.S. government that the Fulani ethnic militia, which is an Islamist group that is hell-bent on turning Nigeria into their own caliphate, were massing up and gathering for multiple attacks on Easter, including the one you just mentioned. And that wasn't the only attack that happened. There was attacks in Kaduna, there was attacks in Jos in Plateau State, and there was attacks even on the border in Nasarawa State. Multiple attacks this weekend. We estimate that over 60 people have been killed this weekend alone, and the count is on the rise, and several Christians have been kidnapped. And what's going on is a systematic genocide and terror being perpetrated on Christians by radical Islamists.
Well, people complained that government troops stood by and were slow to intervene in this latest incident on Easter. When they did, they arrested Christians who came from a nearby village to help. Tell us more about the incident.
Well, that's what happens is 99.9% of the time, the Nigerian government is reactionary, but what happens is to stop the violence and to make peace happen, they go after the victims instead of the perpetrators. So when the victims get mad and they want justice, they go after the victims and not the perpetrators. They let the Fulani ethnic militia run right by army checkpoints and posts fully armed with AK-47s to go on to the attacks without any intervention. But when Christians say we've had enough and they rise up and they start saying we're going to defend ourselves, the Nigerian military comes in and punishes the Christians.
Well, you've worked in Nigeria for many years, so why has the persecution of Christians gotten worse? You say it's genocide, is it?
It's total genocide, and it's government complicity. We have been issuing, through our organization, equippingthepersecuted.org, we've been issuing terror alerts for the last 2 years with 93% accuracy. We've issued over 150 of them. And in virtually all cases where we've issued terror alerts, the Nigerian government did nothing, the attacks happened, and then the Nigerian government intervened after the attacks happened and ended up punishing Christians. We've seen very few terrorists ever brought to justice.
Well, we of course know about Boko Haram, but what don't people understand about what's going on with the Fulani? Some say these attacks aren't religious, they're tribal, so what do you tell them?
If they really believe that, I don't know what to say. They've fallen for a complete lie, because I've been working in Nigeria since 2011. And the Fulani will tell you to your face that they want to get rid of Christianity. The Fulani ethnic militia, the extremists in the Fulani. There's some good Fulani, there's Christian Fulani. But the ones that are running around with AK-47s are hell-bent on eradicating Christianity and turning Nigeria into their own caliphate. They say this with their own words. Now, when they tell you these things, They tell you what they want to do, how they want to accomplish it. You should probably take them seriously instead of denying it.
Well, where are they getting their money to buy AK-47s? Most of these herdsmen are not wealthy people. It costs a lot of money to own an AK-47 and other weapons. Who's supporting them?
Funding is coming in from the Middle East. It's coming in from countries like Saudi Arabia, from Turkey. The other way that they're also funding their war is through kidnapping and extortion of Christians. See, what happens is no one talks about the kidnapping. They go and they'll kidnap 100 people at a time from one village, and these poor Christians have to sell their land, sell everything they own just to get their people back, and then they take that money in turn, buy weapons to continue doing the terror. So it's self-funded through extortion and kidnapping, but they're also getting outside financing.
Judd, the government acts like it's not a problem, yet the attacks are continuing. So what should be done at this point?
I am advocating for United States pressure, more United States pressure on the Nigerian government to do the right thing. Right now, a genocide is taking place. There are plenty of examples of war crimes happening where plenty of people could be brought to justice in Nigeria. But we have to put Nigeria in a situation where it has to do the right thing. And I don't think that can be done without United States pressure.
And how should Christians respond in prayer?
Christians need to be adding this to their prayer list. Please pray every day for our persecuted brothers and sisters, especially in Nigeria, where 90% of all Christian persecution deaths worldwide have occurred in the last 5 years. We need to be talking about it. We need to be praying for these people, but we also need to be supporting missions on the ground that are helping these people.
Okay, Judge Saul, equipping the persecuted. Thanks for sharing your insights. We appreciate it.
U.S. government has evacuated their staffs from U.S. embassies in Nigeria. Are you aware? You are not aware. Now, listen to this news. According to this news, it says, U.S. evacuates staff from Nigeria, says insecurity under Tinubu deteriorating. So, U.S. is saying that they are evacuating their staff because of insecurity. And according to them, they says insecurity under Tinubu deteriorating. Deteriorating means that something is getting worse. Now, according to according to the Sun newspaper, it says, U.S. Embassy orders staff evacuation as 23 Nigerian states declared high risk. Declared high risk. As you can see, this news was posted early this morning, today being the 9th day of April 2026. Now, we're going to go quickly into this news to see these 23 states in Nigeria that they declared high risk. So please stay with me. Your state might be there. You can never tell. But let's go through it and see what it says. Please, I beg you, if this is your first time coming across my video on my channel, please do well to subscribe. Now to the news. It says, let me zoom it so you too can see it. It says, the advisory comes amid escalating concerns over crime, terrorism, kidnapping, and civil unrest, which have intensified across multiple regions of the country. All right. In an updated travel advisory issued on Wednesday, Americans were urged to reconsider travel to Nigeria, with certain states classified under level 4, do not travel, due to heightened security risk. Of course, you know that anything that has gotten to level 4, that thing is on the high side. All right. So Americans are urging their citizens to reconsider traveling to Nigeria. And for their citizens in Nigeria, they have tried to evacuate them. All right. Now, we went further to say, Plateau, Jigawa, Kwara, Niger, and Taraba were added to this list, bringing the total to 23 states where travel is strongly discouraged. Kwara State, a Yoruba land, has also been added to a state that, that is high in security risk. All right. He went further to say, on April 8, 2026, the Department of State authorized non-emergency U.S. government employees and U.S. government employee family members to leave U.S. Embassy Abuja due to the deteriorating security situation the advisory read. All right. Now look at how the advisory said it. Reconsider travel to Nigeria due to crime, terrorism, unrest, kidnapping, and inconsistent availability of healthcare services. Some areas have increased risk, it added. So these people are actually discouraging their citizens from traveling to Nigeria. Because of what? Terrorism, of course, they started from crime, terrorism, unrest, kidnapping, and inconsistent availability of healthcare services. Nigeria, my country. He went further to say, let me zoom it so you can see it. He went further to say, in northern Nigeria, the adversary heightened Borno, Jigawa, Kogi, Kwara, Niger, Plateau, Taraba, Yobe, and northern Adamawa as particularly high risk, citing terrorism, kidnapping, and violent crime. So most of the states in northern Nigeria are high risk where US citizens can travel because of what? Insecurity in those areas. All right, went further to say Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara were also flagged due to civil unrest, widespread crime, and kidnappings. All right, the security situation in these states is unstable and uncertain due to civil unrest, widespread violence between communities, and armed crime, including kidnapping and roadside banditry. Roadside banditry. All right. He went further to say, hold on, security operations to counter these threats may occur without warning, the advisory warned. Southern and southeastern states were not spared. The department urged caution in Abia, Anambra, Bayelsa, Delta, Enugu, Imo, and Rivers, excluding Port Harcourt, citing crime, kidnapping, and violent protests. So they say that mostly what happened in the southeast part of Nigeria is what? Crime, kidnapping, and violent protests. Anambra, Imo, in fact, all the 5 eastern states are included in this place that kidnapping, crime, and violent protests happen. So they are also advising their citizens to be careful when they travel to those states. All right. Crime is widespread in southern Nigeria. There is a high risk of kidnapping, violent protests, and armed gangs, the advisory stated. They also warn them of traveling to the eastern Nigeria, right? We went further to say, the advisory also underscored the perception of US citizens as high-value targets, noting that armed robbery, carjacking, and kidnappings for ransom remain prevalent. All right, they say that all these people that commit crime, that they always target US citizens. Of course, if you get a US citizen, if you kidnap a US citizen, no more, a dollar you go call as ransom. So they are advising them to be very, very careful. All right. Terrorism attack, it said, continue to threaten public spaces, including markets, hotels, places of worship, and other gatherings. All right. Health infrastructure in the country was described as limited and inconsistent, with medical facilities generally not meeting US or European standards. These people, they don't disgrace Nigeria finish. They don't disgrace Nigeria finish, but anyway, it's the truth. They said that, look at it, let me read it again. Health infrastructure in the country was described as limited and inconsistent, with medical facilities generally not meeting US or European standards. That the medical facility we have in Nigeria does not meet US or European standards. So their citizens cannot be taken care of in the health facilities we have in Nigeria. You can imagine. The department recommended that US citizens considering travel enroll in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, maintain personal safety protocols, avoid demonstrations, and remain vigilant in establishing proof of life procedures where necessary. So they have, what is called, what is it called now? Enrollment program. Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. They have it so that you will know where to travel, how to travel, and how to be cautious when you travel to those areas. So finally, it says, analysts note that this travel advisory highlights the intersection of civil unrest, terrorism, and criminal activity in Nigeria, underscoring persistent challenges to the national security. For foreign nationals and diplomatic staff, adherence to the guidance remains critical as the government navigates complex security threats. So, this is what, US is advising their citizens in Nigeria, that they should be very, very careful. In fact, they took time to mention many states. We have 36 states in Nigeria, and they mentioned 23 states, advising their citizens not to travel to those states. And for the southeastern part of Nigeria, they're advising them that when they travel there, they shouldn't, participate in any form of demonstration. In fact, they should be very, very careful and vigilant. So, and they also went ahead. Let me just give you a summary of this. They also went ahead to tell their citizens that the health infrastructure in Nigeria does not meet their standards, so they should be very, very careful. This is a total disgrace to Nigeria and Nigerians. Honestly speaking, this is a total disgrace to the point that they are evacuating their citizens. US is evacuating their citizens. That is to tell you how poor, not even poor, which word will I use now? How risky Nigeria has become for citizens or for people to live in. So we are also urging our government to do something about this insecurity. Do something about insecurity. But unfortunately in Nigeria, what do we see? Most of our leaders, in fact, our leaders, they don't even care. What they are after is next election. Campaign, PDP, ADC, APC, this one and that. That is what they are after. They don't care after their citizens' life. Anyway, I'm not going to allow you to watch just a brief video of a woman rather, narrating how her husband, who is an Inspector General of Police, was kidnapped. And even after paying ransom of 15 million naira, the kidnappers still did not release the Inspector General of Police, which is her husband. It's just so unfortunate. This is what we see every day in Nigeria. Today, if I tell you how many casualties, how many bombings, shootings we've had in Nigeria and people we are unalive, you wouldn't believe. Well, please do well to listen to this woman. Then you drop your comment in the comment section what you think about this video, please.
You said your husband was kidnapped? He's an inspector of police.
I came here last week, so they said we should pay 50 million.
That.
We pay 50 million. Let's release this one. They said my husband, because my husband is a police, they will not release him. They said we bring 20 million again.
Calm down. Calm down. Madam, calm down. So I can understand you well. Don't worry. Are you the son? Who's first? Okay, you explain. Calm down, explain to me.
So it happened on a Sunday morning because I went to Bible school in Benin. So I started that very week and I was called at the church after all night that my dad has been kidnapped after 2. So when I called my mom and asked what happened, he said some people, five people came into the compound, they jumped the fence, took a grand stone by the backyard and paused the window of my daddy's house and entered into the house.
Where's your daddy's house?
Sir?
Where?
At Avili, close to mine apartment. So they entered inside the house, burgled him, and beat my mom and my dad, 2 sisters. Then I took my dad and my sister, this other one here. They took her, my dad. She was wearing his clothes. My dad was wearing a knicker. So they took him and they went. After 3 days, they called us. They said it's 100 million. We begged them that we don't have the money. So they told us 50 million and we kept on negotiating. So after negotiating, then they came to an agreement of 15 million. So it was yesterday night, we raised the 15 million complete. After selling different things, we raised the money and...
You sold your things to be able to...
Yes, we went to the village. Because my dad is royalty. So we went to beg the chiefs and they sold some of the land and begged the villagers. We went... Youth were donating, women. So we said the 50 million that was with us, we launched in the Uyi Grand Hotel yesterday. So the money was with us, they now called us, we should bring TM, we should bring ice, we should bring chicken, we should bring 50,000 naira glow, 40,000 naira empty, 10,000 naira empty. We bought everything. And after one, when we went there, we went to Agbede. After the army checkpoints at Agbede there before the hill. So when we got there, we saw the Fulanis coming out. They were young boys with AK-47. So but the day they came to our house, they were poor version. So when we saw them, we pleaded them that where's our dad? They said we should drop the money first. They opened the money, the guy that took the money, they gave the guy the chicken to test. Then I said if you poison us, you will die your family. So after everything, they brought out my younger sister from inside the bush. They brought her out and told my uncle that took the money there. God waited for him at the junction. They told him that your guy is a policeman. Where is the provost in area command here? So he's not coming out because kidnapper and police know they agree. So the 15 million naira we paid, they said we must pay 20 million again. So now we have been begging them, sir. We cried and we begged, but they refused. So since that yesterday till now, that confusion, frustration. So I only to my mom to just keep praying. Let the will of God be done. That is what that happens, sir.
Amen. Praise the Lord. So they asked you for an amount of money. You negotiated, you sold many things, and they took the money, kept your father back, and released just your sister.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me say something to every one of us. Kidnappers, kidnapped, and informants who give informations to kidnappers. Most of these people who kidnap don't even know what money is. They don't know what money is. It is informants that give them the prize. And these guys don't know what money is. They live in the bush. They don't know what money is. They just smoke, get high, drink, that's all. It's these people. Whatsoever a man sows, when you spend your time doing things causing problem. We heard about what happened in Auchi. The doctors and the nothing hides forever. Nothing hides. Because there are people, that's their duty, to give information, to point houses, to point locations, to say this is this, that is that. If you are involved in that, stop it. If that's all you do, you give information, you get your own cut. That's what you do. There's a judgment waiting. That's your dad's picture. Father, we ask that the angels of God will bring him out. Angels of the Lord, by your mercy, let this man be out. We hand over this battle to you, Holy Spirit. Bring him out by your mercy. Bring him out alive and safe. Amen. Cause confusion in their midst. Let your angel penetrate and rescue him. Amen. It's done. In Jesus' name.
What do you think is the main reason behind the government's failure to prevent these abductions in particular and worsening insecurity in general? What are the questions that still need answers for you about this?
Well, for me, the government has abdicated in its primary responsibility of protecting and saving lives and properties of citizens, and has given 99% of its time to politicking. And governance, especially in a country like Nigeria, is a serious business. It is not how to make money, but how much sacrifice would the leaders make on behalf of the people. If you are a Nigerian president, or a governor, or even chairman of council, you shouldn't have more than 6 hours for leisure. The remaining must be hands on the wheels. That we are not seeing. This government is only concerned about receiving the campees or trying to destroy opposition political parties. And I want to tell them, for the world to know, that it is not in their interest to destroy opposition, because without opposition there is no democracy. And if there is no democracy, it means we are sliding to fascism, dictatorship of the Mussolini type. And this is exactly where they are taking us to. And in fact, I want to advise right from the start that it is not even in the interest of the ordinary APC man not to have an opposition. Because if there is no opposition, he doesn't matter to those in authority. So even the APC people should try to protect opposition so that they become relevant in their own party.
Well, what specific actions do you think the APC government should take to address these, for instance, mass abductions of students in Niger State and other parts of the north?
Let me tell you, it still boils back to what I have said. Those in authority must put up their thinking cap and do the needful. They have tried this gara-gara, as I would want to call it. It did not work. So it is now time to use their intellect, use technology, and protect our citizens. I want to tell you something that had happened in China. Some people sat at the airport. When their lounge, when their flight was called, somebody forgot his bag, small bag, and went to board the aircraft. They asked him for his boarding pass. He looked. The small bag was not there. So he rushed and reported. And the police said, don't matter, don't worry, just go. So they put their cameras and discovered who picked that bag containing, in fact, the man is a Cameroonian, containing $11,000. And they followed him, the camera followed him to the aircraft where he boarded and took off. By the time he arrived at the next station, security people were waiting for him at the ladder of the aircraft.
And you don't want to be caught by the Chinese, do you?
And they just asked him,
hand it over.
and the man who left gave them the address where he was going, dropped the address, and in the morning, here was his bag at his...
So that illustrates the point you're making about using technology and being serious.
Of course. We are not serious. We are only interested in power to make money or to show you that I have arrived.
But when you say we, I mean, that implies that you, as a member of the opposition, is also, and somebody who's been in ruling parties before, I mean, that you're part of the whole sort of mix. I mean, how would you have addressed it if you were in power? What specific measures would you take differently from what the government is doing?
In the first place, because I cannot make that sacrifice of 18 hours per day for you. That is why I am neither electable nor appointable.
Yeah, but you're in a party where you were campaigning for the party to go into power.
Yes, because I thought that I can have the authority or the influence to dictate how things should be done.
Because you helped Buhari get into power.
And when he said we cannot
you
participate,
tried to help Kwankwasa to get into power.
Of course. I assumed Buhari could do it. When he got there, I discovered that he was also one of them.
As it stands right now, we really need to pray now, make US take action, divide this country, because this is the only this is the only happiness we everybody could just get, because these people don't even care your papa, they don't even send your mama, they waiting they do now just to siphon money, they don't even care whether people they buy, and now election be their main problem. So right now we really need to pray, because we don't do so many things so to make sure say the government understand the pain and the cry of the people, and only waiting they do now say they want just vote, they need election, they want waiting they even do, and they even go aside as other countries, they see how they do things and how things is well organized, but to implement all those things for this country is that they find it difficult. It's a shameful thing, the kind of situation we will find ourselves. So I will just really need to pray for our country and make sure say I don't know the kind of mineral resources we will get for this country. people we know for the suffer for this country. If they manage the resources we will get for this country, we know go dey suffer. But the leaders just fail to even do any. In fact, I don't understand. That's why Mazinandi Khalid always they talk say that Biafra is the ultimate. That now only thing we could just save us from all these things we would pass through for this country. All this is where they pass through. So make everybody just they pray for division, because that's the only means. Because these people, they are not ready to offer anything. Even though say Igbo man enter there, they go still manipulate them. So for people where they talk say maybe to be enter there, I don't know which one are they even they talk, because even those P2P enter there, you know, go still change the country, and the country they big for P2P to change. So the best thing for everybody is to just go on their own, manage the little resources where they get. In fact, live their life the way they want. That's the only thing we want for this country. I'm not going to talk much. I know one more, I just share on our own thought. I write freedom for Mazana de Calo and freedom for the people of Biafra. Share your own thought at the comment section. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates.